Okay, I'm going to try this again. Hey, everybody, it's Laura Milligan, and I just got booted off. Apparently, we're having internet problems. It's so frustrating, isn't it? But unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about it. So I'm going to try again. Hopefully, some of you are back. I actually logged out and then came back in. So I'm hoping that some of you are able to find me and will check back in. If not, you'll just have to watch the replay. But I'm excited for these 3 cards that I'm going to share with you today. And so I'm going to go ahead and switch my camera view down, and I have a couple things I want to talk about, and then we will get started with our online class. If you're there, give me a shout out so that I know that you have found me again. I think probably some of you are just waiting to watch the replay because I know I was freezing up a lot, and oh my gosh, it's so frustrating. So anyway, bear with me and hopefully we'll be good to go this time. So I'm going to switch my camera view down. And I am going to start by sharing a beautiful card that I got last week. This is from my friend Terry, and it's so cool. She is very creative and makes very special personal cards. And so she made this. It says, Laura, congratulations on your trip to Norway. And this was a photo that she printed. And this is one of the pictures that I shared with all of you on my business page, my I'd Rather Be Stampin' business page. And so Terry took that picture and printed it up in black and white and turned it into a card. And I love that. I think that's so cool. So thank you so much, Terry. Oh, good. So here's Debbie. Hopefully we're good to go this time, Debbie. I'm glad you came back. This may just be you and me today. We'll see. And then while I was gone, while I had to log out and everything, I pulled out the card that I had made last week, featuring the Gone Fishing bundle, which is such a great and popular set. And the name that I drew was Terry Bates. So Terry, I will get this card in the mail to you probably today, maybe tomorrow, but tomorrow at the latest. So you can look for some happy mail coming your way. Okay, there's Sarah too. Hey, Sarah, good. It's working. All right, let's cross our fingers. Nothing worse than technology messing up like that, right? Okay. I wanted to mention I have a really fun class. This is my online, it's a class to go, or it is if you want to do this in person and make the cards right along with me live, you can do it that way. So you have 2 options. If you don't want to be online and play some fun games of bingo for chances to win Stampin' Up! Prizes, which I don't know why anybody wouldn't want to do that because it's fun to win a prize. But this is my bingo event. But if you don't want to play bingo, you can just do it as a class to go. And it is featuring one of my favorite stamp sets in our new catalog called Bird's Eye View. It has these sweet little birds, books, great combination, right? And then these cute little glasses that you can stamp on the birds' faces, which I think is so, so, so cute. So registration for this closes June 15th at noon. If you haven't signed up yet, I encourage you to do that. I will link the registration when I'm done with my live today. All right. And I think we are good to go. So I am going to make 3 cards today for you. And this is another one of my favorite stamp sets in the catalog. It's called Marvelous Nature. Love the birds. I love this fern image. And I have 3 cards that I'm going to make. And so my special this week is if you place an order, and I have a special host code just for this week, which I will also post when I'm done with this whole Facebook Live so that you can find that link, or so that you can find the code. If you shop and place a $35 order between now and Friday, this coming Friday, I will send you the packet, the card kit, to make these 3 cards. So it won't include any stamped images. That's per Stampin' Up! Policy. You will need the stamp set, or you can just substitute for something you already have. And then you can double dip on this. If you place a $50 order, my thank you gift this month for $50 orders are these pearls. These are the 2022, 2024 in color pearls, and you will get those as a thank you with a $50 order all month long. But a $35 order this week using this special host code will get you the kit to make the cards that I'm going to make for you right now. So let's get started. So my first card, let me pull out all my parts and pieces. So I have a basic white card base, and I'm going to be using boho blue. Let me pull my inks out. Boho blue and wild wheat, which are two of our new ink colors. So the 3 cards I'm making today all include all use some of our new ink colors. And I'm going to start with a piece of basic white. It's 3 3/4 by 5.5, and I'm going to ink up my birds with boho blue. This is a really solid image. Like the stamped part, the birds are like recessed, so the part that you're actually going to stamp is this solid rubber piece. And so I'm gonna ink it up this way just so that I can see that I've got some good coverage. That looks pretty good. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and center this as best I can anyway. And I'm gonna give this a good press, and I'm gonna give it a minute to hold, to pull that ink from this, because it is such a solid image. And that looks really good. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to pull my boho blue blend, Stampin' Blend. This is boho blue dark, and you know I like to do flecking. So I'm going to take, let me find, I have like an older bone folder that I sometimes use for this. Let's see if I can find it. Nope. So let's see, which one of these? I'll just use this one. Sometimes when I do this, well, yeah, you can see I've done some flecking on this because it has some flecks all over it. So what I'm going to do is use the brush tip of my blend. And hi, Virginia. And I'm just going to fleck this. So what I'm going to do is strike the brush tip of my Stampin' Blend and to just create some flecks. And you can do as little or as much as you want. And it just fills in, it adds some interest to that white space surrounding our stamped image. The other thing I found with this color in particular, because it is so solid, the ink is going to lighten up. So as I go through and make this card, by the time I'm done, this ink is going to be a little bit lighter color. So I'm going to set that aside. And then I'm going to use... I have a little word panel that I've already cut. This is from the Countryside Corners dies, and this is the smallest shape, and it's just kind of a rectangle, but it has, the corners are kind of squared off. And I'm going to stamp Lots of Love, and I'm using wild wheat. And if you know, if you've watched any of my videos or Facebook Lives before, you know that when I stamp words, most of the time I will put them on my block from corner to corner. For some reason, for me, I am able to get a straighter image if I put the stamp straight across my block. I don't know why, but I have trouble getting it straight sometimes. So I like to do it corner to corner. So I'm going to go ahead and just stamp this like that. Okay, and that looks pretty straight. It looks like I blobbed a little bit of the ink, but I'm going to just keep on going. I don't think I have another piece of that I can use, but I'm going to just go ahead with that. We'll set that aside for that ink to give it a minute to dry, and then we're going to put our card together. So I'm going to go ahead, first of all, close up my inks. Okay, and I'm going to take my thick basic white card base and just give this a nice crease with my bone folder. Don't want to use the bone folder, excuse me, that I just did my flecking with, because I may end up getting some color on the fold of the card, and I don't want that. So now I'm just going to take some pieces of designer paper. This is 1/2 inch by 5.5, so it's going to be the same height as my card. And then I have a piece of boho blue 1/2 inch by 5.5. So what I'm going to do is just take, I'm going to start with my boho blue strip. I'm just going to put that right on the front. So let me get my glue. Just going to run a little bit of my multi-purpose liquid glue, and I'm leaving, oh, maybe a fourth of an inch or so, probably not even that much, more like an eighth of an inch of white showing. I wanted a little bit of white showing. And then I am going to, where's my piece? Here it is. I'm going to put this piece right on top. And you could really do either side. I love the polka dots, but for this card, I chose the stripe. This is our In Color 2023-2025 designer paper stack. So I'm just going to line this up, and I just want a little bit of that blue showing. So I'm just going to position that and make sure it's straight and give it a press down like that. And then I am going to add this panel, and this panel I popped up with dimensionals. So let me get my dimensionals. I'm going to use the full-size ones for this. And I'll put one in the middle as well. Well, it looks like now the sun's trying to come out. That will be nice. We needed rain so badly, so I'm so thankful we got rain. Okay, and then this piece, I'm just going to position this so that a little bit of that DSP is showing, just a little strip of that, like that. This is a quick, easy card. This is a great card that really would fit for any occasion. I think it's always great to tell somebody that you love them. And so this is going to be the next piece. And for this, I'm just going to pop this up as well. Put 2 dimensionals on the back of this. I thought about adding a bow with like white baker's twine or linen thread, but I thought there was just something so clean and simple about this. I'm just going to put that across there, a little bit overlapping my designer paper strip here and some of the one bird. And then to finish this, I am going to use, these are the In Color 2023-2025 In Color dots. And I'm just going to use the wild wheat. I'm going to put the lid back on my glue so that it doesn't get dried out. Okay, and I'm going to just pick up these gems. Hi, Becky. Thanks for joining in. Had a little technical difficulty, but I think we're good to go now. I'm just going to slide these off and just put a couple on my card. I love to use this take your pick tool. It just makes things so easy. You can slide these gems off and position them right where you want. And then my final one, so there are 3 sizes of these dots. I think for my final one, I'll use this medium size. And I push away and pick it up. I'm just going to put it right there like that. And there I have, that's our first card. So super simple. I do have a little extra piece of the designer paper. This is cut 1/2 by 4 1/4, and so I'm just going to add this to the bottom here. This is a quick, easy, but really fun. I think it's simple and beautiful. Okay, so we're going to put that there. And so there's our card. So there we have, that is card number 1. Now again, I know some of you are just joining in, and I'm offering this as a class special this week. If you place a $35 order or more and use this particular host code, I will send you packets to make these 3 cards. This is the first one that we're doing. I'm featuring the Marvelous Nature stamp set. Let me give you a look. There it is, and let me show you where it is in the catalog, because there are some cute samples here as well. This is on page 106 of our annual catalog, and you can see these cards. I made these a few weeks ago on Facebook Live because I thought they were so beautiful, but this is the stamp set. It's just a set of five stamps, 3 words, and 2 images. And then let me also show you, while I have it out, this is my packet of designer paper. This is the 23-25 In Color. These are all new patterns this year. You can see I've been using it a lot. I have a lot of parts and pieces, little bits and bobs. in there, but those are the patterns, and those are really fun. I love when we get new patterns in our DSP stacks. All right, so there's card number 1. Now that I've made this one, I want to show you, this is not part of the kit that you will receive, but I wanted to show you this last week. I showed all of my swaps that I got on the incentive trip, and I didn't realize that I had forgotten to share the one I made. So this is the one that I made. It's really bright. It doesn't really look like a usual typical card that I would make, but I loved the bright color. This is Blueberry Bushel. I believe it's Blueberry Bushel. It may be Starry Sky. I don't remember now, but I just love the pop of the orange DSP and these iridescent gems. I thought it was a really pretty card, and it's very similar to this card, but this card that will be part of the kit this week focuses on the in colors, the boho blue and the wild wheat. So there is our first card. Now I'm going to grab my Stampin' Scrub, and yeah, Debbie says I can't live without my take your pick tool. So I will tell you, I never really used anything like that. I know a lot of people would use like their pokey tool or the end of their scissors to pick up gems, and I never did that. And I thought, well, I don't know about this take your pick tool. Maybe I'll give it a try. And I feel now like I'm lost without it. I use it, if I don't have it when I'm making a card, I struggle. Okay, so I'm going to take our little bird. I'm going to make one more card with the bird image. I want to make sure this is real clean. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's see. Yep, that looks good. Okay, we'll set that cleaner aside. This is our Stampin' Scrub and Stampin' Mist. It is what I use when I have to clean my stamps. I love this. First of all, this bottle will probably last you the rest of your life. It's a nice big bottle. It'll last you a long, long time. And then this is our Stampin' Scrub. And so if you look at this, and you probably won't be able to see this, but there is this, in this corner here, there are raindrops. And then in this corner, there is sunshine. So what you're supposed to do, the way this was designed is if you put your Stampin' Mist on this side, on the raindrop side, that's supposed to be where you want to get it wet. And then you kind of dry it off on the sunny side over here. To be honest with you, I use both sides. And when I feel like it's not getting my stamps clean anymore, I just take it to the kitchen sink and get my water running, my tap water running, and rinse and rinse and rinse. And I am amazed at how dirty the water is, how much ink these hold. But you do want to clean it, every once in a while. It's kind of fun to see that all that ink pouring out. Okay, next card number 2, is also featuring the birds. I think they're swallows. Are they swallows? Who knows? Who's a bird? I'm a bird lover, but I think they're swallows. They're pretty, whatever they are. Okay. So this next card is also featuring Pebble Path. It's an in color, and we're going to use the birds. And I'm going to use Pebbled Path ink. So I'm going to pull out that ink pad. Love this color. This is one of my favorite in colors. It's a neutral. It's really, really pretty. So these are my parts and pieces. I'm going to start with this is a 3x4 panel of basic white, and I'm going to take my Pebbled Path. Okay, so Marianne says, yes, they are swallows. Thank you. I thought so. Okay, so I'm just going to holding this upside down. It's kind of a bigger stamp, and I just want to make sure I've filled it in really well. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp this. So my first card that I made, I also started with, no, what I didn't. Never mind. I was going to say I started with the 3x4 panel, but I didn't. So this one is going to be a little bit different. 3x4 panel, and let me just stamp this. And again, it's a lot of rubber to put on the paper with ink, and so I'm just going to give it a second for that ink to kind of absorb into the paper. And there we go. And again, it looks really dark. It is going to lighten up as we go along. Okay, and then for this one, I used the same little panel from that Countryside Corners with the Lots of Love again. I'm going to set that aside. I didn't do any flecking on this one, but you certainly could. And you'll see why I didn't in a minute, but I'm going to use the Lots of Love. And you know what? I'm going to grab my cleaner again because this still has the wild wheat ink on it. So I'm going to spritz a little bit more. Hi, Lucy. Hi, Debbie. Thanks, everyone, for joining in. Okay, so we'll get that all cleaned off. That looks good. Yeah, Debbie says the struggle is real without the take your pick tool. No kidding. Well, and I think we have these tools, and why not use them? I think it makes us feel like we're artists, which we are, right? We're crafty ladies. Okay, so I'm going to use the Lots of Love again for this. This could be for a thinking of you. It could be for a birthday, a thank you, sympathy card. I think Lots of Love is a sentiment that you could use for a lot of different things. Okay, so this is still drying a little bit, but you will see, I'll show you my sample and you'll see how much the ink is going to dry up. So I am using thick basic white for my card base. It's 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. Yes, I like those words too, Debbie. So I'm going to, and I will say most of my cards, when I make them, my go-to for card base is thick basic white. I just like the clean look of it, and it's crisp. You will find me using that a lot. And then I can add color and layers from there, but I like my thick basic white card base. All right, so then I took a panel. This is 4 by 5 1/4, and I used the Radiating Stitches dies. These are online exclusives. You can find them in my online store. They are not in the catalog, so you have to look online in my online store for these. They were unavailable for a while, and I don't have them over here with me to show you, but they are very, very cool. I like them very much, and so I'm just going to put this on my card front, and I'm gonna keep this flat. I didn't pop this part up. I'm gonna keep this flat, but I just love that extra. It almost looks like stitching. Well, it's called Radiating Stitches, right? So it is Radiating Stitches. That's exactly what it looks like. I'm gonna go ahead and just add a bit of glue to this panel and center it. Okay, that's straight. Sometimes from where I'm sitting, I can't tell if it's straight or not, but I think that looks pretty good. So we have that. Then I have 2 pieces of designer paper, and I'm going to use the polka dot side. I just love those. This is the stripe side. You could use either one, whichever your preference is, but I have taken I cut 2 of these. These are 3/4 inches by 4 inches, and I am going to take my paper snips. And I keep talking about my new paper snips, and let me just say they love my new paper snips. I didn't realize until I got these how much I needed a new pair. So I'm cutting these in half, and what I'm going to do, so you could either just angle these this way, but I actually did like a I don't even know what you call it, banner, like a V. So I did a V on that end, and then I'm going to take these and do the same thing. And this paper is thin enough that you can easily cut 2 at a time. It just saves you a little bit of time. So what I like to do when I do this kind of a V is start in the center and just go up. And you know what? I learned this from Shelley Gardner, Stampin' Up's founder. I saw her demonstrating, and this is how she did it, and I thought this was a great way. Okay, so now we have 4 pieces that look like little banners. So I'm going to throw these scraps away. Yeah, so Lucy says, I'm still over the moon about the paper snips you gave us at the retreat. So I host an overnight retreat every year, and this year their gift was brand new paper snips, and they got a really cute tag with their name on it as well. I love to spoil my customers, and that was a really fun event. So this is going to be going on here, but what I want to do is use these banners behind my bird panel. And what I want to do is I'm going to position these so that it looks like I have one big long piece. But I really don't, because we all know that I have cut them in half. So what I want to do though when I'm positioning this is make it look like it is one piece. So I got to line these up like that. I'm going to move it a little bit. But I'm going to position these two halves so that it looks like one piece. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but I think it kind of, it sort of extends the length of the card. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to pick this up and glue these down. And I'm just going to hold my finger here and just put a little bit of glue there. Hold my finger here and just put a little glue here. And that's going to hold those in place. And you can see nobody's going to know that we have this space here. It's conserving our designer paper as well. Okay, so I'm going to put this back in place for a minute, and I am going to add these two panels. So these are going to overlap our first panels like that. I'm going to make this a little bit shorter, and then same thing, I'm going to make it look like this is one piece of designer paper. And that looks pretty good. Let's see, I'm going to pull this down a little bit. Okay, just like that. So what I'm going to do then is just pull this back and add some glue. I'm going to be popping up my bird panel, the panel with the stamped images, so that'll help hold these in place as well. So there we have those. This one I better move over because it's not, that's going to be, we'll put that right there like that. There we go. So it looks like one long piece and one long piece. So then I'm going to take my stamped image and I'm going to pop this up with dimensionals. So what are you thinking? Do you love these birds like I do? I think this is such a gorgeous, gorgeous stamp. When I first leafed through, when I got my hands on the brand new catalog and I leafed through, this just popped out at me. So I'm just going to center that on there. And so you can see nobody knows our little trick about using these shorter panels of DSP, right? That's our little secret. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to add lots of love and I'm going to pop this up. You know me, whenever I have a chance to pop something up with dimensionals, I do. I would say when in doubt, pop it up, right? And this is going to just overlap a little bit like that. And you can see how this ink is lighting up the color of it. It just takes a while, and I think it's because this is it just saturates the paper, so you start out with a really dark, beautiful impression, but it does lighten up a little bit. Okay, and now to finish this one, I just kept it really simple and just added one of the gems. I'm going to use the large one this time and slide it off. I'm just going to put that right there like that. And so there is our second card. And let me show you, here's our first one again. And, you know, look how different they look. Totally different, right? You could easily send these to the same person, not right away, but I mean, you may want to wait a little bit, but you could send and maybe just switch out the greeting if you wanted to, but same stamp set, totally different looks, totally different colors. It gives you, you know, more ways to use this stamp set. So those are the first two, and then I have one more that I'm going to share with you. Lucy says, my husband deals with the swallows all spring, making nests over the door of the barn instead of the board he put up for them. Oh, of course, they never go where we want them to, right? All right. Final card is going to use boho blue, and let me get the parts and pieces out. This one I'm using the fern, this image. So if you get this kit, if you place your order, you will get two kits to make the bird, one of each of the bird cards, and then this one with the fern. So I'm going to put the Pebble Path ink away. and get my boho blue ink ready. Let me just pull these parts and pieces out. So I have a couple different panels of white. I have some DSP, and I have a panel that is 4 by 5 1/4, and I have embossed this with the Fern embossing folder. Let me hold it up here so you can see. It's a beautiful, look at all that detail. It is gorgeous, and I thought, of course, it matches perfectly. It pairs perfectly with the Fern in this stamp set. So we are going to start with, let's do our words first. So I have this panel for my words, and I'm using boho blue ink, and I'm going to use You're Marvelous. So ink that up and just stamp that right on here. Okay, there we have that. We'll set that aside a minute. And then I'm going to take the Fern stamp, and I have two pieces here. So I have this is a 3-inch square. Go ahead and ink this up, and I am going to flip this over. I think with these images that have so much area that needs to be stamped, I just like to do it this way. I feel like then I'm more certain that it will have some really good coverage. So I'm going to just turn this a little bit so that this one edge of the Fern is probably, I'm going to say, at like 1 o'clock. If this was a clock, it would be at about 1 o'clock. And again, I'm going to give it a second. And there we have that. And then I'm going to ink it up again, and I have this circle. This was punched with one of our new punches. This is a 2 3/8 inch circle punch, and that's what I've already punched it out. I'm going to go ahead and ink this up again. That looks good. And I'm just going to stamp this over. You can't really see what you're doing, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so there we have that. So cute. All right, and I'm going to set these aside a minute. We're going to start putting this card together. I think I'm done with my ink too, so I will set that aside. Okay, and again, I'm using thick basic white. I think that's, yeah, that's dry already, so that's not going to get on my card. I wanted to make sure. Okay. Get a nice crisp fold on that. Oh, and I've somehow must have gotten ink on that. So you know what? Actually, you know what? It's not going to matter. It's going to be covered up. So I'm just going to go with this. All right. It's another little secret, right? Don't tell anybody that I've made a boo-boo. I want to make sure I don't have any ink on my fingers. I think I'm good. Inky fingers. It's not necessarily a bad thing, is it? Just means we've had some fun stamping. Okay, so for this card, I'm going to start with attaching the embossed piece, the Fern panel, embossed Fern panel, I guess I should say. I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of this. I usually just do one in each corner and then one kind of in the middle, like that. So we'll pull these off. I will say one thing about these 3 cards. I think they are very beautiful, and they are all very duplicatable. They go together quite quickly, which always works for me, right? I think sometimes you just need a card that's quick and beautiful. Next, I'm going to attach this piece, and this is just going to be glued flat on my card front. So I'm going to reach for my glue. So what is your favorite adhesive? I have become a big fan of the multi-purpose liquid glue. I had to learn to use it. When I first started using it, I felt like I was putting too much on and it would seep up around the edges and get on my fingers. But the more I use it, I have become a big fan. I think it's my favorite adhesive. Then I'm going to take this panel and I'm going to pop this up and I'm going to just position it over this stamped image. It's just a fun kind of different look. And so what I'm going to do is turn this so that it's lined up with the image below. And I'm really kind of looking, especially here where the part that goes out like that. So I'm going to get that lined up just like that. And you can see it just gives it some added interest. It just makes that fern pop. Thought that was kind of fun. Then I'm going to take a piece of our boho blue designer paper. This is, I believe it's 1 1/8 inch by 4. And if you do decide to purchase or place an order this week so that you get these card kits, you will also get the PDF with all the measurements. So you'll be able to duplicate these cards even more if you want to. You'll have all the measurements. Okay, and I'm just going to position this here on this panel. Love this color of blue. I think it's so pretty. And then what I'm going to do is take my paper snips, my new paper snips, right? And I'm going to angle this like that, just on the left-hand side. And I am going to put this, leaving this edge straight, I'm going to line that up here, and I'm going to offset it a bit over my designer paper. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this up. If you get a card from me, you'll know that it will have a lot of dimension. Love popping things up. Right, there are times, Debbie, when I do use my tape runner, but I've become a big fan of this glue. I just think it's easier, and I've been very happy with it. So, okay, so this is going to be popped up like that. And then to finish this, I'm just going to add some gems. And I'm going to do boho blue. This is a monochromatic card, blue, boho blue and white. Love that combination. I love this, love this blue color. So I'm going to slide this off. Put one there. I think I'll do the small one beside it. Maybe just right there like that. And then I'm going to do another large one just down here on the blue designer paper. And so there is card 3. And I have, I had a little piece of the designer paper left over. This looks crooked. Maybe it's, you know what, I'm going to take my paper trimmer and just straighten this up a bit. It looks a little bit crooked. It might just be because of the pattern. Yeah, it could just be the pattern. Let me see. No, it is off. Okay. Wait, let me do... Well, you know, this would actually even be really cute on there. I don't think I have another piece. Let's see if I can get this straight. There, that looks better. Okay. So it's just a little extra scrap that I had, which is probably why it wasn't cut straight, but it's straight now. And so this, you know, you could put down here, it just kind of dresses up the inside of the card. You could also put it at the top. You could put one at the top and the bottom. I usually put it at the bottom. Oops, let me get that centered there. Like that. You could also stamp like a corner of the fern there. That would look really cute there. There are ways to, you know, to add some fun things to the inside. So let me bring in our 3 cards from today. That one, and then here's our other blue. These featured, like I said, a couple of our new in colors. Boho blue, pebbled path, and then boho blue and just a titch of the wild wheat. So those are the 3 cards. If you place an order this week of $35 in product, I will send the parts and pieces for you to recreate these cards. And again, it does not include stamped images because that's against Stampin' Up policy. I think this stamp set is $22. So if you buy that, you're well on your way to getting to that $35 level. And then if you place a $50 order at the end of the month, actually early July, I will be sending out this as a thank you gift. So you would get these as a thank you from me for a $50 order. This is the host code, and I always appreciate your orders. I hope you enjoyed these cards. Like I said, this is one of my favorite sets. It just really popped out at me when I first took a look at our new catalog, and I hope that you will consider placing an order. I would be very grateful. So I am going to say goodbye for today. Thank you for joining me. And if you're here live or if you're watching the replay, I appreciate you all so much. And I love to read your comments. I read every single one and love to hear from you. And so I will be back next Monday. I'm not sure yet what I'm going to be doing, but I will get it figured out. And I look forward to seeing you then. Oh, and I should mention, we have two things going on this month. One is a great designer series paper share. We have, I think it's 12 different papers that are on sale this month, 15% off, which is a great deal. And then we also have a sign-up special. So if you're somebody that wants everything in the catalog, you should think about signing up. I would love to have you join my team. I have a team of amazing women. Don't have any men yet. Maybe someday I'll have a man on my team. That would be welcome. But it's women now all across the United States who are so nice, so talented, and we would love to have you join us. We have a great, like I said, it's a great sign-up special, $99, and you get, I think it's $155 in product of your choice. So you can pick anything you want for your starter kit. You can choose what you want. When I signed up, we couldn't do that. There were certain things that were just automatically included. So you get to personalize your kit for what you want. It's a great deal. And like I said, we would welcome you on our team, and you would enjoy the demonstrator discount as an active demonstrator, which is a great, great thing. So if you have questions about that, let me know. Please reach out to me. Like I said, we would be welcome. We have all kinds of demonstrators on my team. We have business builders. We have people that I call happy shoppers or hobbyists who just want to take advantage of the discount. If they want it all, it's a great way. Why not, right? Why not join the Stampin' Up! Family and be able to get the products that you love at a discount. So let me know if you have questions about that. And until next time, thank you again for joining me, and I hope you have time to be creative today. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.